Okay, doke. Daily trading recap for this Wednesday, the 10th of November, 2021. Keeping this one nice and short because no trades were made for me on the day. Absolutely still continuing to push myself harder just on a discipline basis, especially to identify specifically what I'm looking for on a criteria basis, whether it's that gap and crap style of short trade or post-morning session fade as a short into lunch session. Not looking for a full intraday fade trying to make us home run out of a single, but looking for backside move out of any morning volatility or the start of the backside within that pre-market, which is kind of adapted to how I've adapted the morning dump style trade in that sense. So really nothing, not a lot of scanners, like even 3 or 4, if I remember right, that popped up on my scanners in the pre-market. Just not a lot coming. You can call DXF was when I was just like kind of keeping an eye on, call it a morning dump, but this is earlier in the pre-market, so that would have been 7:22, adding 2 hours. This daylight savings just screws up absolutely everything, so that would have been 7 as a break of, call it a crack, of VWAP here that I would have looked for as an entry point to establish this as a morning dump style of trade. Nice little percentage move in the pre-market there to the downside, trading this as a short and still being able to hold it cleanly within reason of morning volatility or morning volume, especially that it just didn't even have an attempt at VWAP to try and play around with VWAP and just faded off from there. So nice little downside move on that one. And I should have, could have, would have been trading this one, but just still not fitting the awesome criteria that I was looking for as a trade. RNXT, another one, no real news catalyst that I saw. And again, spiking pretty early in that pre-market, pretty much right at the open of pre, and just kind of continuing to drag out and draw out, and not one of my favorite. Monaco had an awesome trade on this during the live stream today, just buying pretty much at the failure for it to break this little range low around 8.8-ish area, buying off of that and just selling into the nice and easy, quick scalpy trade within these first 5 minutes here. Awesome little trade there, and just kind of sketchy for me at this point, and I was definitely going to let it go for whatever I wanted to do. It was pretty high. It wasn't crazy high, but just a little bit higher of a borrow fee through trade zero. Of course, it is also a 1.6 million floater. It shows here on scans as well. So you go do what you want to do. I'm just going to stick in hard focus on what I'm trying to see here, which this past week I've just really not been seeing. And Art of War had a great mention in the chat as well too, that really everybody thought this month of November, we're kind of coming into this is the end of the first week. I can't click right there. I want to click. It's the start of this month of November. It's kind of just been, when everybody was thinking, okay, now we're getting to those winter months. Usually you start heating up, start seeing some more promotion, start seeing just some more craziness going in, but you got to take what's given to you. You can't force anything on the market or force your ideals, perspectives on what these charts are supposed to be. You got to take what's given to you, and you can't expect anything out of the market. And I thought that was just a great mention as well. Again, something that I especially do tend to forget, that the market doesn't owe me anything, and the market has no understanding of my perspective on it. It doesn't change based on the way I see it. It is what it is, which is continual reminder for myself to do that. Whatever I do, I will never be able to change what it is. It is what it is. That's the best way to say it. I was tempted to play SPY as well too, the short side, try and after it wasn't just seeing really anything that I was liking, thinking we could get another little bit of a hard red day today. So I probably would have been taking a loss with how well we had this little green morning spike if I was playing options or futures based on that, still based on the data too, of follow the trend. If it was red the previous day, we've got a 75% chance it's going to be red the next day, and this kind of proven itself true. But of course I love the morning volume, and I like to be out of these things within half hour, an hour at most, on those option styles of trades especially, or the longer, at least little tiny intraday scalpy or longer trend moves. So I kind of probably would have been stopped out with this little green move, but still proving the trend correctly that it did have a hard little sell-off, 0.8% in the red today we're showing on SPY. So maybe we see a little bit of a pullback for how insane that little green move was there that past 2, 3, 4 trading weeks. Dollar volume on the day as well. NASDAQ $298 billion volume. We are 2 hours and 18 minutes after the close here. NYSE $296 billion volume again. NASDAQ slapping above the NYSE for dollar volume. Good to see. And OTC markets $3.09 billion volume. Really, I just wanted to mention NEGG. It was my hard focus from pre-market. We had the crazy move very nice move on Monday, the start of this week. Into the close was holding pretty well after I was sold off a little bit, holding that pre-market, then harder sell and kind of came back a little bit. So just kind of a rest day. Just, okay, hold your horses, not anywhere near the same volume that it did on that first day. And looking for a tight consolidation similar to what it did here. This is now the last time it moved. Let's go back to, so this is this move here back this summer on NEGG when it had a 5-day run up, huge volume on that 7th. But looking here, this is now we're going back to the 2nd to when it had that first initial green day on 6/30. What's 6? June 30th. Go back to June. There we go. Right? Yeah. Okay. So then we had this huge run day. Difference on this one is it was a full day. I forget if there was a news catalyst on this day as well, but I think there was also Wall Street bets potentially in on this one, and I think it's coming back the same thing that it did on that first day for NEGG. Now, present time, it may be a little Wall Street bets play, but a full green day, continual push, continuing to smack those shorts. Almost looks a little like DWAC, if I remember correctly. There just continues. It's up so much that shorts are like, oh, it's just an easy little short here, play the nice fade, and it just continues to keep grinding, and we get closer to the close, and it's just like, okay, am I going to continue to hold this overnight? They're just going to continue to get pressed. Nice buying action into the close. On this next day, following that was a Thursday. A little bit of a sell-off, but reclaim, just kind of following an nice little range, but uptrending, closing, still a green day, closing higher than where it opened. And then you get into this. This was a Friday on this one for a third day play. Interesting and kind of weird little gap down, but holding extremely tight consolidation price range compared to what it was trading the past 2 trading days. Very noticeable shift in just drawing out no volume, of course, maybe even this shows a little bit clearer of a picture. If we take out those candles, yeah, still just zero volume, just lackluster trading, but holding a key level and maintaining a extremely tight window. And then huge skyrocket, huge short squeeze on that effect that gets you into a halt there. So that was the move I was looking for any hint of very low volume, very tight consolidation range. And that's what I was eyeing for, a potential short squeeze style trade, similar to what we saw. Not exactly trading it completely as it did on this in the summer months here, but of course, charts tend to follow the same kind of characteristics or ideals from time to time. They don't repeat, they don't mirror each other. But just looking for those same kind of indicators, we just did not have it. Sold off right at the open, failing to ever really break view app. Had a little attempt here, sold off once again. So just tough. And no volume really to reverse any of that sell-off, to show any signs of short squeeze strength to that one. So that was really my day. Just high, and also watching PPSI for the same style thing, the crazy move that it had on Monday this week. A little bit of a rest day. It got a little bit of ahead of itself maybe. They was squeezing a few shorts here right at the, just a little bit after that morning session, morning craziness, but then just kind of just buffered and flowed the rest of the day, but selling off and really not looking great. This pre-market today had a kind of a bounce here, and I know I think Papa John was trading this one along as well, that Monaco said. I'm out of the small cap recap chat, which is frustrating. That free trial ended, but it's whatever. But just, yeah, nothing really to continue on with this one either. So, yeah, that was really the day. Nothing hard for me on the scanners as of right now. I'm not doing any hard scans. I'll do that later tonight. So just a quick little short day. Not trading when I don't have to. Not just getting so dopamine desperate that I just got to push buttons at some point and just, well, I got to trade SPY. Well, I got to do this. I got to go into options of staying in my lane, waiting like a freaking panther when I feel the right criteria is there, and still keeping myself humble to, like, with all these different scenarios that play over in my head and the kind of dream cycle that I go through of just knowing when that moment, if and when that moment does come, to just stay patient, stay open-minded to every perspective that is on that chart. That just not, I get so blinded to my own beliefs that, oh, okay, well, I've waited this long. This one's got to be it. And I got to put all my cards on the table at this point. I'm going to stay level-headed and focused. Cut losses quickly if they're there. Stick to my risk level, to my trade plan on the ticker itself. If it moves and it varies, that's the stock market. That's what it's going to want to do. These market makers are there to get us to play into our emotions. So just waiting patiently, waiting like a panther if and when more of those kind of gap and crapper or just afternoon fade style of short trades start to come out. And you could kind of qualify RNXT as one of those. Shoulda, coulda, would have been short this one for the afternoon fade after this little morning craziness for this nice little block that happened. Just boom, all of that. But probably would have gotten short here after maybe one of these rejects and then gotten screwed over to a new high of day. So if I was trying to get short this one for that style play after it was close to half an hour from market open, but it's neither here nor there. That's just looking at the past and just making assumptions at that point. But yeah, nice little block. That's the style of trade I'm looking for. That little post morning session into lunch session style of fading trade. Also a 1 minute floater, so that's kind of why I didn't take it. But that is really all I had today. I sincerely thank you guys for watching this little nice and short, quick video. We will catch you guys on the next one.